Okay, I was going to check the box, but thank
That
you.
saves you a trip. Sorry.
Thank you, thank you. Oh.
Let's call the Monday, January 8th meeting of the Dalton City Council to order. Mr. Mock will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can't believe the crowd that we've drawn tonight to make sure that I'm really leaving. Before I adjourn this meeting, I would like to say, number one, it was my privilege in 2008, the first time I was elected, to be elected with Denise Wood, the first female city council member in Dalton history. And now I'm very excited that I'm going out, being followed by Dalton's first female mayor, Annalise Sounds. Congratulations, Annalise. Well, we need to adjourn the meeting, sine die.
Right, Mr. Bledsoe, I think it's time to administer some oaths.
During my continuance in office,
during my continuance in office,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dennis Mock,
I, Dennis Mock,
do solemnly swear that I will,
do solemnly swear that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of council member for the city of Dalton
discharge the duties of council member for the city of Dalton
during my continuance in office.
during my continuance in office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tyree Goodlett, do solemnly swear that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties of council member for the city of Dalton during my continuance in office. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you.
Go ahead and call the back to order the January 8th, 2024 meeting of the Dalton City Council. We've already done the pledge. I'll ask for an approval of the agenda with an amendment to add at the end an oath of office for Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a first and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have anyone that wishes to provide any public commentary? If not, we'll move ahead to approving minutes, and we'll take these separately. We have minutes of the mayor and council special call joint meeting for December 4th. Do I have a motion to approve and accept those minutes as written? So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Nikki. Now we have the mayor and council minutes of December 19th. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Then we have the mayor and council special called meeting minutes of December 27th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve? A motion and a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Moving on to new business. Item 7, Resolution 2401, authorizing municipal utility property disposition.
Thank you, Mrs. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Mayor. I've got to get that out of my vocabulary. Mrs. Mayor and Council, this is a resolution, our first of the year, 2401, and it involves some property that is essentially owned by Dalton Utilities, but as you know, their property is vested in the title of the city. So anytime any potential land transaction comes up, the council has to authorize those transactions as required by our charter. So back at the December 18th meeting, the Water, Light and Sinking Fund Commission did vote favorably to sell 16.61 acres of property in Gilmer County. And you see on the screen there, the map, this is located well outside the limits of City of Dalton. It's a 230 kV transmission line. There, as I understand it, is a developer that's building a subdivision. And as you've seen locally, we do have properties that are developed under transmission lines. Dalton Utilities conducted an appraisal of the property and it was $24,000. That amount may seem low, but it is a very narrow strip of property that's very long in length. So there's been a lot of discussion among the commission at the November and December meetings, and a second appraisal was done, and the board felt comfortable moving forward. So what is up for consideration this evening is a resolution to authorize that property disposition, and Dalton Utilities will retain easement rights under the electric line, so they'll be able to continue operating that line.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Number 8, Resolution 2402, designating Bank OZK as a depository of public funds of the city, establishing signatories thereto, and authorizing certain employees to take limited action with respect to city accounts.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is just a housekeeping issue to remove the prior mayor from our banking accounts and add Ms. Harlan Sams.
Okay, are there any questions?
Motion to
Motion.
approve. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Thank you. Number 9, ordinance 2401, the request of Carlos Daniel Miranda to rezone from neighborhood commercial C1 to medium density single family residential R3, a tract of land totaling 0.43 acres located at 1123 Trammell Street, Dalton, parcel 12-182-02-033. Ethan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This rezoning is a fairly straightforward one. What we have on the subject property is a single-family detached dwelling. And currently, the property being zoned neighborhood commercial can only be used for commercial use, while the existing dwelling that's on this property is certainly residential in character and has been used so historically. By changing the zoning to medium density, single family residential, it would allow the property to be used as it's currently developed. And based on adjacent zoning and development in this area, staff found no issues with this having any sort of negative impact or setting in any sort of precedent that we would need to have a concern about. Planning Commission also came to that conclusion with a positive recommendation from staff and Planning Commission with no opposition from the public.
Do we have any questions?
I move we approve the rezoning.
A motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ethan. We have a second, item 10, ordinance 2402, the request of Whitfield County Board of Commissioners, along with the cities of Dalton and Varnell, to amend the unified zoning ordinance to create a new urban planned unit development zoning district.
Mr. Mayor, this is a little different. This would be an ordinance amendment creating an entirely new zone district that has not previously existed in our unified zoning ordinance. While it is similar to our existing planned unit development zone district in character in a way that administratively, what a planned unit development is an opportunity to create a little flexibility with site design, with mixing different types of uses in a development of varying size in order to have different types of residential and potentially even commercial development, provided that certain parameters be met. And what makes this different than an outright zone district like commercial, neighborhood commercial, general commercial, or any of our residential zone districts is that any potential property that would be eligible for this zone district would have to create a site plan, which we set very detailed parameters as to what that must consist of. That site plan must be brought forward, presented to staff, planning commission, and ultimately mayor and council for their review and approval. So, and based long-term, if a plan unit development zoning is approved, then any of the conditions in that zoning and of course the site plan itself is there in perpetuity as long as there are no changes made by the governing body to that district moving forward. So once the plan is approved, that is what the development will have to look like. Should there be any changes to a development and planned unit development in the future, it would have to come back and go through that process again if it's a substantial change. This ordinance has a lot of course, details, but very quickly, the purpose of this is to serve as a tool for redevelopment, particularly infill development, and within areas of the city where redeveloping property can be rather challenging and creating some unique solutions to some of those properties. This zone district would allow that opportunity in a much more administratively appropriate fashion than trying to apply for variances and things like that and setting a bad precedent. And there's a number of safeguards in this ordinance as well for architectural standards. As you allow greater density, we want to ensure that this is quality, smart growth, and that there are opportunities for review along the way to make sure that it's appropriate for the area that it would be requested in. And of course, this would be creating the district. Any property to be zoned for planned unit development, urban planned unit development, would have to then come before the planning commission as well as the city council. You'll note also in the last page of this that this applies to not only just the city's corporate boundary, but also the metropolitan statistical area as defined by the census, which will include some areas surrounding the city of Dalton. And that was a recommendation by staff in order to not just limit it to the city of Dalton, but those areas that are also urbanized and appropriate for this type of infill development outside the city limits as well.
Where it says dollar type stores, is that like Dollar Generals and Family Dollars or?
Would that be under the list of prohibited uses?
Yes.
Yes, sir. There are a number of prohibited uses under the commercial portion. So with any planned unit development, sometimes it's appropriate to have some neighborhood commercial type uses, things like that. And so there are a number of prohibited uses. And yes, sir, that one would be prohibited.
Do we have any other questions? If there aren't,
to approve.
second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ethan. Item 11, Dalton Police Department Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification. Chief Kason.
Mayor and Council, this is a pretty straightforward document that's included in your packet. Each year, the Department of Justice requires that we submit an updated equitable sharing agreement and have that document certified by the chief of police as well as the mayor. So that was included in your packet. This item is time sensitive and we have to return it by January 31st of each year. That's why we're here presenting it this evening for your approval.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Kason.
Thank you very much.
Item number 12, intergovernmental agreement for the use and distribution of proceeds from the 2024 special purpose local option sales tax for capital outlay projects.
Madam Mayor and Council, as you might recall, the city and county have had a SPOS, general SPOS that's been collected since 2020, and it's currently running through September of 2024. We understand the county Board of Commissioners, they're meeting right now as well. They are slated to approve a resolution for a continuation of a general SPOS, a 4-year SPOS that would fall on the May 21st, 2024 referendum for consideration by the voters. As you have seen in the media, the SPOS committee appointed by the various local governments has met now for several months, and they've reviewed projects presented by the various taxing authorities and have come back with project recommendations as well as a total budget for the SPOS based on prior collections. As you see on the screen, the budgeted collections for purposes of the IGA and the resolution that the county's considering is 80 million, and which would equate obviously to 20 million per year. The intergovernmental agreement calls for the funding to be split based on population distribution. That is what state law basically advises, that if you can't reach an agreement, it defaults to population distribution, and that's what historically we agreed to in the past. The city's 2020 decennial census resulted in the city representing 33.52% of the countywide population. Based on that pro rata share, the total amount the city would be in line to receive over the 4-year SPOS is just over 26 million at 26,815. And the projects that correlate to that $26,815,000 are shown on the screen there. It's several public safety projects, park capital improvements. As you can see, quite a bit earmarked for road resurfacing, bridge replacements and rehab, and stormwater projects, as well as sidewalk. And the final couple projects, the Mill Line Trail Extension and the public safety radio replacement. The factors that we negotiated with the county is that they removed all Tier 1 projects from the overall intergovernmental agreement, which would have cut into the city share quite a bit and have come off the top. So we were able to negotiate those out of the IGA. And we also negotiated a split of excess funds, should there be any, at a split of 35% to the city and 65% to the county. If approved by the voters, this SPOS would start on October 1st, 2024, and continue to be collected for 16 quarters. This intergovernmental agreement is up for consideration by not only the county, but the other 3 cities, Varnell, Cohutta, and Tunnel Hill.
Any questions?
I think we did well on our negotiations on this, especially to get all the Tier 1 projects to be paid completely by the county rather than to take them off the top. So I think that was a big concession, and also, of course, allows us to get a little higher percentage on the end if we go above the 80 million. So I feel good about it.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, these, we have several appointments, and we will do these individually. Yes, so item number 13 for municipal court judge.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is for the approval of the council, the municipal court judge agreement. I did want to say that the city attorney has reviewed all 3 contracts for municipal court judge, municipal court prosecuting attorney, and municipal court public defender. However, in the judge's agreement, there is one typo in section 4 compensation. The amount listed in your packet is $4,900 $16.67. It should say $5,300.
And just for clarity, that's the current rate. It was just when the agreement was drafted, the old amount inadvertently got pulled in, but the current rate is the $5,300 per month.
Do we have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agreement from municipal. All right.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now item number 14, municipal court prosecuting attorney agreement.
And that's the same. So before you is the contract for the municipal court prosecuting attorney.
Any questions? None? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, municipal court public defender agreement.
And the same. This is the contract for your consideration for the municipal court public defender.
And if I could just note, there was a $15 per hour increase that was contemplated in the agreement. The rate had not been updated for many years, so we reviewed peer cities, and that seemed to be very reasonable for a public defender.
Move we approve, Madam Mayor.
Okay, have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And then number 16, we have mayoral board and miscellaneous appointments. So I'm not going to read these as fast as David, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to offer these mayoral appointments first, and Jonathan, we can do these all together and,
That's correct.
okay. These are the mayoral appointments. These are actually not a vote. These are just to state for the record or,
Mayoral appointments, so they won't need a vote.
okay. For liaison to the airport authority, Councilmember Nikki Lama. The building authority, myself, Annalise Sams. In addition, Councilmember Dennis Mock. Convention visitors, myself, Annalise Sams. Creative Arts Guild, Councilmember Steve Farrow. Defined Contribution Committee, myself, Annalise Sams. Downtown Development, Councilmember Dennis Mock. See, Dalton Whitfield Community Development Corporation, myself, Annalise Sams. Finance Administration is all council members. Housing, Councilmember Dennis Mock. Joint Development, Councilmember Dennis Mock. Library, Councilmember Steve Farrow. MPO Policy, Councilmember Dennis Mock. Municipal Court Liaison, Councilmember Steve Farrow. Pension, myself and Councilmember Dennis Mock. Public Safety Liaison, myself, Annalise Sams. Public Works and Facilities, Councilmember Tyree Goodlett and Councilmember Nikki Lama. Recreation, Councilmember Dennis Mock. Regional Development, Kenny Gowan. Service Delivery, myself, Annalise Sams, along with City Administrator Andrew Parker. Solid Waste Management, Councilmember Tyree Goodlett. Solid Waste Management, myself, Annalise Sams. TAD Policies, Councilmember Dennis Mock. Technology, Councilmember Nikki Lama. Trade Center, Councilmember Nikki Lama. Tree Board, myself, Annalise Sams. Water, Light, and Sinking Fund, Councilmember Steve Farrow. And now we have our board appointments, and these we can do all of these together, but we will vote on.
There's no objection. We can do it all together.
Okay. Is everyone comfortable with doing that? That has been our practice in the past. Okay. To the Development Authority, Carlos Ramirez, Carl Purrier, Jim Rogers, Oliver Cobb, Bob Caperton, and one spot that is to be determined. As far as the Building Code of Appeals, board is being dissolved. And also, Andrew, that the county had also dissolved their.
Yes, Madam Mayor, in our review of the various committees, it appears that this is a committee that has sunset, and so at a future meeting, I've already asked the city attorney to draft resolutions to properly dissolve these boards that are no longer active. The Dalton Whitfield Building Code Appeals duties will be basically given to the Board of Zoning Appeals. That's what the county has already done.
Okay, and the same to be dissolved also is the grievance committee. Then we'll be reappointing Matt Daniel to the Whitfield County EMS Quality Review. We have one position that is yet to be determined for the library board. Then we will have the reappointment of Bitsy McFarland to the library board. We have a position to the Convention Visitors Bureau Board to be determined. We also have several housing authority spots to be determined. We will reappoint Danny Morgan to the Airport Authority. New appointment of Jocelyn Richards to the Library Board. One position with Public Safety Commission to be determined. Recreation Commission, Oliver Cobb. Tree Board, reappointment of Robin Hasselberg, Will Esther, and Troy Virgo. The Water, Light, and Sinking Fund, just to mention for the record, but has already been completed at an earlier meeting, would be Ken White. The Joint Development Authority, city appointee Carlos Ramirez and Frank Robertson. We have one to be determined for the Historic Preservation Commission, and then a reappointment of Kathy Snyder and Elizabeth Caperton, also John Hutchinson. Reappointment to the Trade Center Authority of Mike Kinsey, and the Animal Control Board, as it stands presently, will be dissolved. Building Authority reappointment of Lane Lewis and Scott Sellers. I put all those in a form and ask for a motion to approve.
Madam Mayor, we do have 3 more on the next sheet.
Okay, just kidding. We also have for the Building Authority, Oliver Cobb, and to the Airport Authority, Louis Prieto, and to the Recreation Commission, Jacob Mitchell.
And just as a point of clarification, Mr. Prieto and Mr. Mitchell are filling the vacated terms of Gary Cruz on Airport Authority and Dave Snyder on the Recreation Commission. Both of those members had to resign due to job changes, and the rest are for full appointments to their various terms that are shown.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Appreciate all of these folks in the community being willing to serve. Now we have we'll take these individually. First we'll do municipal court judge. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we appoint Rob Cowan to this position. Reappoint him, I guess I should say.
I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Judge Cowan, reappointed. He was here, or there he is. Thank you, sir, for your service, and I will look forward to continue to work with you. I'll entertain a motion for Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll make a mayor. I move that we appoint Tyree Goodlet to Mayor Pro Temp. I guess it's Mayor Pro Tempore or Tempore, whatever the Latin phrase is.
I have a motion and I have a motion at the same time here. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Councilmember Goodlet, for willing to do this, and at the end, we'll have your oath, okay, before we adjourn. I'll entertain a motion for Fire Marshal.
Make a motion for Matt Daniels to be appointed.
Okay, I have a motion. To have a second?
Second. Question, is this just going to be temporarily that the chief is going to serve in this position?
Yes, Councilmember Farrow, this is not a typo. This is on purpose. We would like to have Matt Daniel continuing in his role as fire marshal until the proper time can take place to vet potential candidates for that role. There are a lot of code related authorities given to the fire marshal, so we want to make sure we have the right candidate. And until such time, staff recommends that the chief also serve in the fire marshal role.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries. City Attorney, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I move that we appoint Jonathan Bledsoe. I guess he's already been appointed, but.
At a special meeting,
that.
yes, we're reconfirming and stating for the record. So I've,
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Jonathan, we're pleased to be working with you. Thank you for being here. And then our fire chief, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to appoint Matt Daniel.
I have a motion. Have a second? A motion, and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those completed. This time, do you want to do the oath of office for Mayor Pro Tem, and then we'll come back and do announcements?
Raise your right hand again. I, Tyree Goodlet,
I, Tyree Goodwin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will, to the best of my ability,
that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of Mayor Tempore for the city of Dalton
to discharge the duties of Mayor Tim Poor in the city of Dalton
during my continuance in office.
during the continuance in office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Congratulations, Tyree. We need to also, we've omitted from the list of miscellaneous appointments. When you get back to your seat, sir, we need to take action on our police chief. I apologize, Chief Kasem, for the omit from the list. I'll entertain a motion for chief of police.
I entertain a motion to
Got it.
keep Chief Kaysen as our police chief.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Kaysen, for your service. Look forward to continuing to work with you. Before we do announcements, I'd like to say that really encouraged to see so much engagement from this community. We were fortunate enough to have some coverage from media outlets this evening to talk about what all the really exciting things that are happening in Dalton. And so much of the good things that are here are represented in this room, and that's just people's love and care and concern for this community. And I look forward to working with all of these fine folks and the excellent professional staff we have here at the city. I hope that we see more of you at meetings to come, and appreciate you all spending some of your evening with us. As far as announcements, the city offices will be closed Monday, January 15th, 2024, in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The mayor and council meeting scheduled for Monday, January 15th has been canceled. The next city council meeting will be held Monday, February 5th, 2024. We stand adjourned.